got no ashy or no crumbs in my mouth, you know.
Girl, look, we live now. So if you did, they see it. They
Well, look,
well,
you see me
good
fix my face too,
morning.
so.
Good
Good
morning.
morning,
Good
good
morning.
morning.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hood Talks podcast. This is your host, Shavannah. I am so happy to be here on this morning. Man, it's been a morning, but we are here and we have some awesome doulas here with us today. We did have to switch it up a little bit, but that's okay. That's just how long and connected the doula world is, because we got some replacements in here. Hey, ladies. How are you, ladies? Well, all right, y'all. So first, before we get into this show, I do want to go ahead and say the t-shirt giveaway. Can you guys see that? Doulas and Midwives is on. Please, if you want to be a part of that and win this shirt, you would have to first follow us on Facebook. Make sure that you share this live and comment done in the comments here on this live video. After the video is ended, the giveaway is over, and I will put all of the names in a drawing, and I will announce who the winner is for the t-shirts later on today. But now that that's out the way, let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. I'm going to start off with introductions. We're going to go ahead and let you ladies introduce yourselves, talk about your services you provide, your doula, and all of that good stuff. I think I'm going to go ahead and go top. I see you first, Andrea. Please tell me I said that right. You are first. Please go ahead and introduce yourself and all of the cool things you do as a doula.
Perfect. I'm Andrea. I am a certified birth, labor, and postpartum doula. I am also an end of life doula and a sex doula. I'm working on my certification for my bereavement doula training, so I'm excited to be here. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here with me and us. You have so many certifications under your head. Like, even me being a doula, I was not aware of all of those things. So I'm so excited to hear about them and dive into all of those. And Miss Sherry, can you please?
Yes, good morning, good afternoon. My name is Sherika Hutchinson, but you can call me Sherry. I got several hats that I wear, but I am a nurse. I'm also a birth doula and a sex doula and also a coach. Yes, and I love helping holistic health matters.
All righty. And sorry, you did pause for a minute. Unfortunately, that's this Zoom life. Ooh,
Whoa, Lord.
girl, internet and technology. But thank you for being here also last minute. I definitely
Oh,
appreciate you
good.
hopping on here with us. All right, Miss Grace, I see you down there. Could you go ahead and introduce yourself, honey?
Grace. I am a birth and postpartum doula, and I also do postpartum or I'm a co-facilitator for the moms groups for the moms line, and I'm a postpartum peer coach for the moms line, so I do a little bit of that too.
Okay.
Hey.
All right. Go ahead, Miss Honey. Look, don't want to say your name wrong either. Please.
Bernicia.
Yes. But pronounce your name again. I'm so sorry, girl. Look.
Bernicia.
Bernicia. All right, Sister
Yes,
Doula.
ma'am.
Yes. How are you?
I'm doing well as usual. And yourself, ladies?
I'm doing good. I am doing good. We are doing good. Okay, we are here this morning on this nice day outside. But go ahead and introduce yourselves. This is actually a doula sister. We took our doula course together. So shout out to you, honey. And you just dropped a precious little baby. So shout out to you again.
Yes, I am definitely in postpartum mode.
Yes.
Yes, so I am, or Infinitely Alive Majesty is my brand, and I call myself Madam Majesty. I'm also the majestic home goddess, if you will. I'm here to uplift, encourage, and give back different types of tools to the communities, just so we can get women back into alignment. So, yeah, my business, I have my doula care, and that is pretty much a full spectrum doula, but my main focus is on to postpartum and getting women back into alignment with themselves physically, mentally, and spiritually, as well as emotionally. So that's what I do. I do skincare line. I have a hair care line. I am a certified yoga instructor. I also, wow, my bad, y'all. I got a little off. But I also do spiritual work. I offer different types of boxes and baths on that, as well as spiritual readings. And yeah, that's me.
Yes, you ladies, a lot of you guys wear a lot of hats. I think that's womanhood, ain't it? We always wearing some hats, ain't we, baby?
Yes.
We always got some hats for days. But yes, honey, thank you for being here too. Last minute, I appreciate you climbing on and being here with us.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I appreciate just being here. This topped off my doula week. I got a couple of cash outs. I was like, oh, okay, podcast, period.
Yes,
Come on, universe.
yes, come through. I said,
Oh, just blessing me over here.
and Miss Netta, I feel like she's the OG of them doulas. I love Netta and all the work that she do, and shout out to her. I appreciate her. So please introduce yourself.
Yes. My name is Vanetta Ward, but everybody calls me Netta. I am the founder and doula at Nurture Nature Birth Institute. I'm a full spectrum doula, so I work with women prenatally, during birth, and postpartum. I also offer different belly wrapping services during postpartum and the Moroccan postpartum experience, utilizing different African centered traditions to help holistically heal the mom and help her to rebirth to who she is in motherhood and also as an individual. I also, thankfully, am a part of the Jamal Wise Women Council. So I serve as a board member for Jamal Birth Village. And it's really exciting, to be a part of the work of womanhood in the community and also be able to support an organization that backs Black maternity and maternity health and the Black experience being a positive experience. And so I just want to thank you for allowing me to be here and allowing all of us to be here to represent doulas during World Doula Week. So thank you, Shabana.
No problem. And shout out to Jamal and their dope doula training, and shout out to True Kilman herself.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. Okay, ladies. Well, since we got that out the way, let's get into this great conversation about doulas. I want to start off by telling the people what a doula is. Y'all ever got that? Doula? What's doula?
Yes, honey.
What's the Abdullah?
Exactly.
Abdullah.
Thanks.
Like, what is a doula? But no, so let's tell anybody who feels like want to go first. Like I said, this is a free form conversation. I just, of course, make sure we're respecting each other, but whatever. But yes, whoever wants to go first and elaborate on what is a doula.
I'll start with this.
Doula?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, a doula is your birth, postpartum, your childbearing fairy godmother. They do it all. They come in, they help clean up, they help get you prepared for baby, they can help you get pregnant, they can help you after the pregnancy. They are literally birth gurus. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Birth gurus. What you say, Grace? What's a doula?
So I would say that we help educate, advocate, and empower moms through the prenatal and postpartum period. We are there to, uplift and give them utmost support and love throughout the whole period of the perinatal time.
And I mean, those as a full doula, you think about pre-pregnancy, during the pregnancy, and then postpartum. But again, tapping into the new doula, or this is not even new, but the other doula worlds, we have sex doula. We have the birth doula. I mean, not birth doula, the death doula, and then you have the
Lost doula too.
yeah, the lost doula. Yeah, miscarriage and abortion doulas. There are doulas for abortions. So they're out there. Tap into that. What does a sex doula do, and what does a death doula do?
Let's see.
I'm going to
I'll start.
doula. I know. Oh, what?
I'm sorry,
As a sex doula, I call myself like a pleasure coach.
Yes.
With being a sex doula, get women back to the divine feminine. You know, over the years, women have become so very hard, and we've had to take on masculine roles. But little do we know, there is such power in femininity. And so that's one of my biggest missions, is to get women back and comfortable in their skin.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Okay, and
yes.
was you gonna say something? I'm sorry.
I know for me, I call myself a pleasure too, because I'm really interested in helping women and femmes prioritize pleasure in their lives. It's really important for me to like support that, because for centuries, pleasure was very male or masculine centered. So it's really important to me to center feminine energy, feminine femmes, women, like just bring it back, because it's really important that we center our pleasure and that sex in our lives, because it's really important to us. So
yes, and you know, we need the pleasure so we can keep birthing them babies, right?
Girl, look.
Yes.
Yes. Pleasure means birthing babies.
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it doesn't. You're right.
Very true.
Yes. Okay, team, you know, do it your own. Hey.
You hear me?
That's when you start manifesting in your own world.
Yes. 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 Okay.
Sex magic is very real.
Magic is real.
Very real.
Yes. Yes, it is. It is very real. So how do a doula different from a doctor or a midwife? Because you know people say that. So you a midwife? When you say I'm a doula, they're like, you're a midwife? No, not a midwife.
Yeah, technically doulas, we are not allowed to take a blood pressure because that is labeled as clinical. We're just absolutely support.
So this is what I say. I say we're sort of like the midwife's sidekick. We are there to support the midwife in the things she does. We don't give cervix exams. You know, we don't do blood pressures. We don't do the medical side of things. We are there to support you and comfort you through your labor. But they do the medical side of things. They have more education and they get paid more, okay?
And a lot more schooling on top of that. But a doula, in the role of a doula, though, when we say we're non-medical, which is medical is definitely, it's important, but at the end of the day, that support that doulas give, which can be, you know, emotionally, mentally, and sometimes physically, because you know we back rubbing and all of that. You know,
we give some of that physical for sure.
Yes,
I mean, those hip squeezes don't take take some muscle, okay?
Yes.
And then the coaching of it all too, just being there to help, you know, empower the women and, you know, talking them through those contractions. Like I know, with shout out to my doulas, when I was going through that last delivery, like the encouragement that I could push on through those pains was really beneficial to help me keep pushing on through those pains.
It was so amazing. Like my goodness, that was an empowering birth, definitely.
Man, yes. So to talk about,
I just add something real quick.
Go ahead.
The emotional side of being a doula also is so important. So like I have experienced a birth that I did completely virtually, and the family was like, I didn't even barely know you weren't there, because your support was so strong virtually.
Yes, honey.
I was like, okay.
Yes.
I'm so glad that, I'm so glad
Can
because
we
I was so
talk
worried that they were like concerned that I wasn't there. I was in quarantine, unfortunately. Thank you, COVID. But I was so concerned that because I wasn't there, that they were unsatisfied. But they're like, man, your care emotionally was so strong that we felt so supported. So our emotional, care for our clients is so important that it makes a difference. It really makes a difference.
Oh yeah.
So let's not forget that the virtual side of doula work is still like very beneficial. We can do labors and coach a dad or another support person through the whole process through Zoom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was going to actually say a lot of the times too, doulas are there to help the supportive person. Like if it may be your partner or, maybe your mom or your family members, whoever your support person is on top of your doula, they are there to also help and, make them feel comfortable and helping and assisting during the birth. So it's never like the doula is there to take over and everyone else is just there.
No.
Never
I always like to say I love when dads want to be interactive. That is my favorite type of dad. And I also say I support dads that want to stay on the sideline, but I'm not here to steal your glory or steal your family experience. I'm here to support and be there within the process.
Yes.
And I've been blessed that every mom that I've been a doula since 2019, and I've assisted with 6 births, and all 6 of them dads were involved in there and had questions and wanted to know, and I loved it because I went in thinking that it was going to be a lot of single moms that I would be helping. Honey, then daddy's been there, and I love it.
Yes.
And can I add, just on a side note,
Go
these
ahead.
dads that have been active and like loving on their mamas, they have shown me and given me a higher grade of expectation of men for me to date. Okay, they have shown me what a real woman deserves in a man. I'm just saying.
Girl, you better talk now.
Yes.
Just saying.
Put some standards on
They
that
have
thing.
shown their mamas some love. So I'm just saying. Expectations have gone from here to here.
It's definitely good and refreshing to see,
It is. It's enlightening.
It is.
I don't take nothing lower than this. Okay.
It just goes to show when we talk about being someplace in real life, and then the what do they call it? The propaganda that they show. That's kind of what it is. It's like It's propaganda. They want to show that Black men aren't there or involved, and it's completely different when you get out here and you start seeing. You like, oh, wait a minute, no,
the daddy is there.
Yes, and they showing out. Do you hear me? So yes, kudos and shout out.
Can we just appreciate the evolution of Black fathers right now? Straight up, because it was a time where it was just okay, the dads was in the home, but they was always at work, and it was such a modern quote family home where the woman's at home taking care of kids, doing all of this stuff, and the man just is outside of the household. Then we went to not having a man in the house whatsoever, and now we're at the point where we're having the man in the home 24/7 and helping with domestic chores or whatnot, just so that we can be like a better family unit. So let's just shout out to the Black men, because that evolution right there.
Yeah,
definitely
golden.
Yes. And like again, doulas are there to help and coach and support the father also, or whoever the partner is. So don't ever shy away, dads, from being embraced and having a doula there to help. But yeah, y'all. Oh man. I don't know. It's just so much to unpack with doulas, and so many things that so many hats that a doula can wear and can do and assist when we're talking about birth. I do want to center around the conversation about how we know Black women are 3 times more likely to die during childbirth. How do you guys think doulas can and will impact those numbers?
It's just somebody there. I know my very first birth, I saw firsthand the racism in labor and delivery. It is real, it is disgusting, and a lot happens in that room when mom is giving birth and that beautiful time is happening. And if you don't have someone there who knows what should be happening, who understands that lingo, they try to throw things at you last minute, it can get overwhelming. So I think having doulas around, because after my first birth, my nickname was the Debo doula, because it was my best friend and they was on some BS, honey. And so, I'm a nurse as well. So I know the lingo that y'all throwing around here that you don't think she understands, but I do. And so I learned my first birth that I cannot speak for the moms. You have to tell doctors what they're going to do. But that was my best friend, honey, that was tripping. But I think just our presence and them knowing that there is someone advocating, there's someone in the room for this woman, so we can't just do her any kind of way. I think that alone will decrease the mortality rate.
Also, to add to that point, that's a huge point. And that's kind of, when I first got into doula work, I definitely went in there thinking like, oh, it's going to be beautiful. All I have to do is like a rubber bag, squeeze her head. And then you get in there and it's like a doctor that's just busting through the room, or it's an anesthesiologist that's poking her more than twice,
Yeah.
And you start to look at these things, and I will forever praise My Birth Village for training and having a culturally based training to even highlight all of those things, because I would have never known any type of bias was in the healthcare system to that magnitude that it's actually killing people. And so, yes, definitely having somebody there, but then also empowering that mom and their family beforehand. Because I didn't see the strength, from their prenatal visit to the birth, and the dad or the partner is like, actually, this is our birth plan. Or, actually, she doesn't want that. Yesterday was a great, or not yesterday, but this morning, because I'm still sleepy, was a great example of that, because in the prenatals, dad was very kind of quiet, but as a doula, you try to make it fun and engaging for everyone involved. And it got down to the what is it? Pulsating, help me out. Umbilical cord. So wanting to delay
clamping.
And the doctor, they were just trying to do the policy, just 1 minute. And mom, was about to start talking, and then dad was like, no, she wants 30 minutes.
Oh, baby.
Compared to families who may have supported, who wasn't able to do the prenatal visits, or didn't necessarily take to the prenatal visits and just wanted somebody there, and how drastically different those experiences are. Because when you don't do those prenatal visits, then you tend to have to coach while things are coming and while things are happening and while people are coming in and out of the room. And it's a disservice to their family. And so I just stress that it's those prenatals, also those postpartum follow-up visits, that I really feel like impact those numbers to drastically drop, because it's empowerment there. That wraparound support, knowing that you'll have that constant person, prenatal, birth, and postpartum, or at least knowing that if you can't have that person, because sometimes we have multiple births at the same time, that you'll have a backup doula. Either way, you're not by yourself. Because sometimes we forget that the partner is new to this birth too. Although they're not birthing themselves, this is still an addition to their family. And so they're just as in shock. So yeah, sometimes they may step up as their birth support person, but sometimes they want to fall to the back and really compartmentalize, like, wow, I'm about to have another addition to my family. So yeah, definitely us being in there, creating space, but then also that empowerment piece, the prenatal and postpartum sessions.
Yes, and the educational piece of it all. I know for me, looking back over my first birth, and then compared to the second, and just knowing what I know, how different they were. Like I went from a straight medicated birth all the way into a non-medicated birth. So just knowing the knowledge of it all is definitely a big thing. So a doula is there to also help educate the family in the beginning. So when they walk in, you know, they're aware of things.
And then I think it also kind of changes the conversation for generations to come.
Yes.
So, you know, usually people are like, oh, no, girl, get that medicine. And by all means, if that's you, you do that. But now I kind of see the conversation changing. Now it's more so like, well, what do you want? Well, yeah, I mean, you want to labor at home? Or look, I know this doula, or I know this midwife, or I know this doula that's also a nurse. You know what I'm saying? If you really messing with, because, you know, we have people who have high risk pregnancies where the natural route, you know, is not necessarily probably the best plan. And so you probably have to take on different things. And so having a doula that's also a nurse, that might be your go-to if you know you having a high-risk pregnancy. So knowing that you have those options. And when you know you have options, your stress level kind of to go, you know, stress is the biggest one of the biggest factors of, you know, the increase in mental or maternal mortality rates, because we know what stress does to the body on just the average person. But then with Black people, we also have that stress from years, generational trauma, generational stress. Then we also have the stress on our own bodies, you know, that has happened to us over the years. And so it's just understanding that you have options. There is no more, oh, well, that's just what it is, you know, because now I had a mom at 39 weeks and we changed doctors immediately because they lied to her and said at first they had the equipment to help her have her first VBAC. And then at 39 weeks, all of a sudden they don't have it. If she would have been by herself, you know, her husband would have been like, oh man, well, I guess we got to do it this way.
Right.
Stress could have went up immediately, you know, depression immediately, that postpartum effect. But we changed that doctor at 39 weeks. She was over and look, happy.
Look, and it's great.
And I'm sure everybody on this call can definitely talk about testaments where you went, the person probably would have been, you know, depressed, on that postpartum depression or anything like that, because they did not have options. And now we are that bridge way where we're connecting you to options, we connecting you to hope. And so that's, sorry, I'm getting off my soapbox. Let me know if I talk too much, y'all.
No, but you did you bringing it
connecting you to hope. I love that.
That was it, honey.
That is it right there. So what I could say with that is that I was so nervous when I was giving my introduction. I am a doula for Jama Birth Village. I forgot. I was just like so nervous, but I am, and I have to piece in that with my education for my mamas and family, we voice it, or we educate them on the Black Birthing Bill of Rights, and we have advocacy cards, and that is a big like open door for teaching them how to advocate for themselves, and also telling them that they have rights. Black mamas have rights. Black and brown mamas have rights that they are freely given because people fought for them. And, you know, with those rights, you have the right to ask questions. You have the right to say no. You have the right to ask, well, if this happens, what are the alternatives? If this happens, you know, what if I say no? You know, so giving women empowerment for, you know, showing them that there is room to grow by saying no, and there's room to say, well, what are the alternatives? What are the risks? What are the benefits? What, you know, having all these options instead of just saying yes as soon as the doctor comes in, or no, you know, that is it shows that there are options.
Yeah, I can definitely relate and understand what you're saying. It's like when you know, like instead of coming into the doctor or to my room and telling me, well, we're going to do this because we're just going to put Pitocin up. We're going to jack your Pitocin. Right.
And I tell my mamas all the time, I say, you do not have to take, you know, you do not have to say yes to this.
But let me say this right. They're not even giving you the choice. They're coming in and just saying, we're going to jack this up. And then that's it. What these doctors need to do is come in and give these people Black women options and choices and say, hey, we want to, raise this Pitocin up because of this such and such, but you don't have to. And I think I totally agree. Women, we should know and feel also like we can say no, because sometimes it's intimidating. Sometimes they come in and you feel like you can't say no, and you be like, well, shit, I don't know, he's the doctor, so maybe maybe I should just do it. But
what they tend to do is intimidate, and they put pressure on you as if they do know the best option. But what I really stress on my mamas and families is that, well, on my mamas is they know their intuition. I tell my mamas, you know your intuition is best. Yes. If you feel icky about that, then you don't ever question what your insides are saying no to.
Mm-hmm.
And, know your body. By us being here as doulas, we have the way, the door open to educate them with that. And we also have the right with them for them to say, hey, can I talk to my team? The team being the dad, the doula, and themselves. They have the right to say, hey, give me a minute so I can talk to my team. And the doctors and nurses have to leave. We have the right to tell them to leave.
I love telling them, can you give us a minute so we can discuss this, child?
So add, like, to your question about how do we decrease that maternal mortality rate, it's also in regards to being able, I just lost my phone.
It happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
That's because you're
okay if I expand on that question just a little bit before y'all move on to the topics. The way that we do that is we are a bird's eye view. Doulas are literally, if this is a ship, we is in the bird's nest baskets, because we look over the postpartum. Hey, how your postpartum visit go? What did they say? Is it anything I need to explain? How you eating? That's going to determine how your mood is, how you feeling, your discomfort. And that's just during pregnancy. When you go into labor, you watching the machines, you making sure how much water intake is coming up, how much is coming out, how much fluid, if the bag is coming out, what do we need to do? And as long as you're that care person in the front hand, and you have all of this knowledge from just this person, this family, not even just the birth plan wise, but what they like, what they don't like, how they move, their natures, if they get irritated, and that goes into that intuition, or that doula intuition that we all have. And on that postpartum end, we can say, okay, you're not this way, you're not that way, you need to do this, you need to do that. And not, I guess I'm probably put that in an aggressive way, but in the most loving way possible, how we maneuver and how we look at everything and put everything and all the pieces of the puzzle together. That's where we can put in that beforehand care. I know a lot of people, if y'all familiar with like the healthcare field, birth people don't have that in-home care person. Geriatric people, they had an in-home care person, and then they had a CNA, then they had a nurse, then they had a doctor, and whatever other specialists they have. Pregnant people, you got your midwife and your doctor, and you might have a nurse practitioner. You don't have that in-house person other than your family and your husband or your birthing partner or whatever, and they don't know. So having that birth guru in there and talking to, being able to communicate, you get that bird's eye view of what the situation is and can get on things beforehand. So yeah, I'm done with my
You're talking about that bird's eye view. When it comes to seeing the personalities of the different doctors. So one thing that we know is that it's bias in the healthcare system, And so being able to really ask your client, are you really comfortable? Because we know if the mom doesn't feel safe and supported and secure in the labor, no matter how she is birthing, that can kind of mess up some things or slow some things down. And so being able to ask those tough questions. So maybe the partner may not necessarily know how to say, do you feel comfortable with this doctor? But we can see when she clench up, or we can see when she has that exaggerated pause or that sigh, and then we are able to say, are you okay? Do you feel comfortable? because sometimes it's not blatant bias. Sometimes it's implicit, it's kind of just like, oh, well, I just assumed that you did smoke. Or I assumed that you weren't in pain, so I didn't give that lidocaine. Or, I just assumed that I could check you. Like, and they just, just go in for it. And it's just being able to be that person. Like, you are that support person where you're like, how you feeling about this? So going off of that intuition, some people don't necessarily address that intuition because of, like you all said, intimidation. So we're that person that's trying to nurture you throughout those prenatal sessions. So when we get to the birth, we know we have that trust with you. You're vulnerable with us to be able to ask you a real question like, how you feel about that nurse? How you feel about that doctor? Do you want to be checked again? And not even having to do that in front of that doctor or that nurse, but asking them, do you want a minute? Because you see a face twitch up, or you see the husband look a little concerned. So then instead of you going to the doctor and being like, hold on, doc, what's this all about? Like we want to do. But instead in that doula role, we kind of look at the doctor, look at our family, and then we can ask the family, do y'all want a minute to kind of discuss? Then when that person get out the room, now we're like, okay, let's keep it funky. What's up? Because you want that family to know, this is a safe space. Yes. Because otherwise you go into this fight or flight mode. Everything slows down because when your adrenaline go up, the oxytocin, those endorphins are kind of cut out, and now you're stalling. So now you're in the hospital. So if you stay in there too long without making any progress, now they're talking about C-section. Yes. And all these different things can just increase your stress, which can kind of go towards, different outcomes that we don't want to happen as Black women, but that we are at a higher risk of having. And so I think as a doula, we literally are saving lives. Like I always tell people, like as a doula, we are on their front line. Like we are resisting the what the system tries to impose on us. So it's this quote that Brittany Farrell has on her email. And it says, come celebrate with me that everything that tried to destroy me did not succeed. And that's every time I see a successful birth, every time I hear of a mom feeling like they were.
We lost you. Netta, we lost you. But yeah, I think she was saying like
understand like, wow, this system that tried to tear you down, is now here.
I'm sorry, we lost you for a minute, girl. Zoom.
Okay,
we gonna celebrate because they tried to stop you, but we look, hey, we keeping it going. We keeping it going. Like they don't like current stuff that we talk about on the Hood Talks podcast, but that's all right. We gonna keep it talking and keep it flowing. But yes, man, I definitely think you're right when we talk about being a safe space. Because when you birth outside of your home and you're birthing in these environments like hospitals and things, it's an outside space. You don't know how to, really adapt to it, but you can make it your own. And that's one thing I did with the second birth. Like I had my diffuser going, music playing when I wanted. I'm like, turn them lights down. I don't want all them bright lights on. I'm trying to zing over here. So knowing that, and doulas are there to assist you with that, writing up your birth plan and always being flexible with, if it doesn't go the way you want it to go, how would be a good alternative for you, and having those conversations before so you can definitely make that environment your safe space. So shout out to doulas for that, because I definitely think.
Can I add one thing?
Go ahead.
I loved that Grace was talking about listening to the first person's intuition. I also feel like as a doula, it's really important that we empower birthing people to trust their bodies. I feel like we help them with the tools to help them trust not just their intuition, but their own bodies. And I think that's just revolutionary in itself, for real.
Yes, trusting your own body, women. Yes, that's deep. That is so deep.
Because God made no mistakes when he made the woman. We was having babies in caves and stuff. We didn't have no doctors. We didn't have no Pitocin. When no daddies cutting no cords,
So we was having them, our ancestors, and that was one of my affirmations. If my ancestors could do this in the field,
I could do it too.
Baby, I could do this too. I could do this too. I swear. Yes, having an affirmation and just knowing that, right? Trusting your body is real. It is really real.
Yeah, they are.
I think that's how they got us. They made us feel like being pregnant was an illness and not embracing it as a beautiful thing that we as women can do. And it's been doing for generations on generations and generations.
They turned it into a business and they took all the joy and the sacredness out of childbirth. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, the fact that we are able to create life. Life comes from us, and they have turned it into a business. One of the things I also tell my moms is that your doctor works for you. They went to school, 12 plus years so they can work for you. Okay. And if no is a complete sentence, you don't have to explain why you're telling them no, and like Netta said, you can see the difference from the the prenatal visits to when they get in there. You can see how you've empowered and given the mom and the support team confidence in knowing, well, no, this is what we want to do, and moving forward. So I just love it.
Yes. So I guess we can kind of dive into listening to you guys talk about the things that doulas do. It just gives me like a little bit overwhelming, because the job of a doula, like, it is a dedication. Like, y'all know right now it's real. Like, everybody like, oh, I want to be a doula. I'm gonna be certified. I'll be a doula. I want to be a doula. And I mean, personally, for me, why I haven't been practicing is because I want to be dedicated to my mamas. And all of that time, it takes a lot of time to be a doula. So elaborate, y'all. Elaborate on how do y'all feel? What's important to know about being a doula for those who are looking to be a doula?
It's really important to understand why. Make sure that your intention, your mission is pure, and that it's of service. Period. I think that would be number one. You can make sure it's pure.
I'm sorry. If you wanting to become a doula, go in with your eyes open, because you think that, oh, I get to be around pregnant people. I get to be in the room when they give birth. I'm sitting here telling them to push. I'm holding the leg. I'm crying. I'm seeing eyes. That's beautiful. But as my doula sister Charity Dean would say, what if that baby dies? What if she dies? What if your client dies? What if something happens and you're not prepared for that? It is, a beautiful thing to be in the room, to be present, or to even have the experience to go with someone through their birthing journey. But what about those hiccups? How are you going to mentally, physically, and emotionally in yourself be able to support a whole family of people? Because at that time, then it's not just, you and mom, or you mom and birthing person. It's a whole family. Are you going to the funeral? Is there a funeral? Is there not a funeral? It's so many things that we don't think of. And you can literally see somebody hemorrhage and bleed out before you can say anything. So make sure that you're educating yourself before you take that step to commit, to make sure that that's something you can do, or what spectrum it is that you want to be in, because you might not be, the person that can deal with the pregnancy. I'm not that person. I can't do that. I can do births only, or I can do the postpartum things, or I'm just here to get you pregnant and being a fertility doula. It's different aspects. So just make sure you know your lane when you going into it.
Absolutely. To piggyback off of you, I'm a birth doula, and that's it. I love the entire aspect, but like you said, go in and know what your niche is. Like, some women to do the full spectrum. Me personally, I love to be in there while it's going on, making sure that mamas are gonna go home, and then I do my follow-up visit. But I have postpartum doulas that I pass my mommies on to because that's their lane. I don't, and I think it's super important because postpartum depression is so very real. But make sure that you know your lane, and then perfect your craft. Like you said, be educated. If I want to be a birth doula, I had to know of the risks that come in that hospital room or at that home when that happens. So yeah, just piggybacking off of you.
I would also add to don't so I went in like a militant. So
Yes, me too.
I used to do like the die-ins at the malls and the protests and things like that. And so when I wasn't on that front line anymore, I didn't know that doula work was also being on the front line. And I always tell myself being a doula is a revolutionary act. So when I started going to the hospital, I was like, nope, you get everything you want, forget that, forget doctors, forget nurses, and then like reroute that because it's the team. I always talk about what is in your birth toolbox. And it's not just me. It's never just gonna be me. I'm not gonna know everything, which means you have to make sure the parent making sure that you have a good relationship with your doctor, a good relationship with your nurses, a good relationship with everybody that's considered on your birth team. So if you got that one family member that's irritating you and they got your blood pressure spiking, you might not want to have them as close in this process, Or if you go see your doctor's visit and it's the third time your doctor that made you feel uncomfortable, unheard, cooperative, maybe it's time to look for a different doctor. So kind of understanding it, and as a doula, having those difficult conversations to keep asking those questions. So if you asked, they told you about their doctor's visit, and then I usually ask, so how was your relationship with your doctor? And I'm like, it was cool. She was kind of short with me, but that's just her personality. Let's dig a little deeper, because when you get to birthing, you don't want her personality to be, oh, it's just a little short. No, because if you telling her, hey, I'm feeling this way about this option that you just told me about, and she's short then too, then how does that make you feel? Right. Then that goes into that whole triad of stress going up, blood pressure going up. Now they want to give you medication. Now they want you to stay over and all of that. Now you can't push your baby out. So now they're talking about a C-section. And then
they're trying to cut on you.
Hey, to Bernicia, right? Yeah. So Bernicia's point, you have to think about all of that. So anytime I'm supporting a mom, of course, I'm thinking 50-50, 50-50 chance on everything. So you end up with that knowledge as a doula, you like, I want my best odds. As a doula, I want my clients to be able to have the birth that they want, even if it doesn't go as planned. The outcome is healthy mama, healthy baby. How do I help them to get there? Even if it's not what I think it should be. So even if it's not natural, even if it's not at the hospital I want or the birth I want, even if they don't stick with me as a doula, that didn't happen. But I'm making sure that whoever I need to pass you on to, they have that same mindset. It's a 50-50 chance. We're going to go with your better option. What support do you need in order for you to get there? So for any future doulas, I would definitely say, understand that it's not about you. Understand that everything that you are giving to that family is what they can utilize. So if you know that mama don't want to breastfeed, there is no point giving her lactation information. It just isn't. There's no, listen to her. Yes. Because otherwise then you become that same bias that you're supposed to be helping to protect her from.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I say that
was awesome.
I'm with what everyone said, of course, and knowing your niche, knowing where you stand and what you're gonna say you're gonna do. Like if you want to do birth doula, do birth doula, get good at it. I say that I'm a full spectrum doula, basically. I want to do, I am a birth and postpartum doula, but I support all births. So I like to piggyback a little bit on what Netta said is with the doctor. I had a client with a doctor that she's like, oh, she's a little. I asked her how she likes her doctor, She's like, oh, she's a little nonchalant. I said, are you sure you want a doctor that's a little nonchalant? And she's like, well, I'm like, are you sure you want a doctor that's a little nonchalant about her answers and things with your care and your baby's care? And she's like, maybe I should look around. I'm like, yeah, you answered that. Maybe you should look around, you know? So like you have to know how to advocate, and you have to know as a doula how to advocate properly. You don't want to go in as a militant and like as an attack dog. Like as a doula, you have to learn how to advocate properly and like in a way that it is help. Like I guess my only word I can think of right now is healthy for your family that you're working for, and know your role in your doula work. So
and meeting the mom or the family where they are, that goes back to what Netta was saying too. Like if she doesn't want to breastfeed, even though you may be a big advocate for breastfeeding, don't beat a dead horse. Just help her find the best formula for that baby and go on about your life.
Give them options.
You have right.
Exactly. You can give all the options that you can, and you can touch on breastfeeding. Like, well, breastfeeding is good because this and this and this, but if you're not interested, I understand. We're going to get you to this formula, or give them information on this formula and teach them how to bottle feed properly. You know, but there's no point in the whole CLC education, you know, on breastfeeding because this is the right way to go, you know, because they're clearly telling you that's not what they want. So you forcing your beliefs on them is not going to make a happy client. It's going to make, you know.
Yeah, it definitely won't make a happy client. And
then that client's going to have buyer's remorse. So she's not going to keep you updated on nothing.
For sure.
Trying to figure out why she hasn't told you that she already had the baby.
Right. You ain't even get the call. Like I ain't calling her, and she just gonna tell me how to breastfeed. I just told that like y'all want to breastfeed. But no, so it's not about you, okay? So if you're trying to be a doula because you want to be a doula and you think you're the greatest doula in the world, you're gonna have all these mamas out here birthing babies in the pool and everything is gonna be smooth. That ain't where you need to be. That ain't it.
Girl, and then COVID done messed up the water births, Lord.
Man.
COVID has been one heck of a ride. But like she said, which was hard for me, like I wanted my doula in person, but virtually doula is just as great as not having a doula in person. Like, I mean, as having a doula in person. Definitely. It literally is the same when, like you said, that emotional part and that mental part, and just having a support. Like speaking for myself, you know, when I had her, like I'm like, she was like, she knew me. She like, Savannah, let's not focus on this problem. Let's get this baby here, okay? And so sometimes you need that reassurance and you need that, like, okay, focus. This ain't about what they trying to throw at you. You want this baby in, you got to zone in. So that alone is just beneficial, having someone there to help you and bring you back to that place. Because we want to birth babies in a stressless environment. We want these babies coming out like, whew, like it ain't always gonna be zing, but you know, we just definitely want the stress limit down because we're already dealing with so much as Black women. And like you said, the stress can definitely cause issues in the birthing process. So having to eliminate as much stressors as possible is definitely dope. And that's what doulas can help do.
I wanted to add something.
Go ahead, girl, go ahead.
Bernicia talked about being educated. I think that's part of the reason why I became a full spectrum doula. You go in, you know, looking for the best, and sometimes parents lose, birthing parents, whether they have like a miscarriage or a stillborn. It's really important that as a birthing doula, I realize the other side of that. There's birth, there's loss as well, and like I feel like people should at least take a couple loss classes in addition to birthing classes too, to see educate themselves.
Definitely.
Because sometimes you are pregnant and sometimes you have a loss, and that's a reality. And we need to be prepared for that as well. I think as doulas, I think that's really important.
That goes for new doulas and older doulas or doulas that's been in the game for a long time. Continuing education. It doesn't just stop when you take your first training, but also seeking out those other trainings that help you to, fine tune your skill set as a doula. So like you said, the loss trainings, death doula trainings, just advanced doula trainings, anything that help you stay connected to the practice, because we are all still practicing as doulas, trying to understand how best to support people in this most vulnerable but exciting time. And to Andrea's point, there's sometimes that happens, loss happens, and it's hard as a doula to really navigate that for the client, but then also for yourself. And somebody else spoke on it earlier about helping yourself. I think it was Grace. Being able to check in with yourself. If you're not okay, finding another doula. So if you're a new doula, definitely reminding yourself it's not a silo. This is not an individual profession. This is a community profession. And understanding you want to connect to other doulas. It's not a competition. It's so many great people out here in this world.
Absolutely.
And on top of it, so many other aspects of doula work, as media, this video session has talked about. So it's just really finding your niche, but then also building on that niche and understanding that if you don't know something about it, I've reached out to several other doulas, because I have clients who have had loss, who have had birth, and it's so much as a doula. Me being able to reach out to my doula circle, especially if you have, let's say, if a client, experiences a loss and then you have another mom that's due the next day, you're not emotionally put together yet to support that mom. And you got to know that. You have to know that. You have to be able to reach out to your next doula sis. Like Grace, good for me calling her Grace. Hey girl, can you help me? Can you be my baby?
Okay. I'm always
anytime I know I can depend on her, because if you're not physically well, how can you create space to help that other client?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's also important to also like Netta said, have like a doula circle, because you may not make, like, I know me being a doula is not my full-time job. So, but I have been blessed to have made all my births. I haven't missed any, but that can happen if, doula work is not your full time. So, be prepared to pass your mommy on to someone that you trust, and also don't beat yourself up if you can't make it. And I've been blessed to, because I'm gonna be sad, child, if I can't make one of my births. But I am mentally prepared though.
Yeah, because it really just matters. Like, I had to understand it, because I legit cried when I had to miss my first birth, and it was because people delivering. I know, y'all. My first year as a doula, Lord Jesus, I could write a book. So this is why I'm like, oh yeah, don't do this, don't do that. Remember this, because that first year, at least when I got trained, it wasn't a lot of information, like, so you had to kind of like figure it out on your own. Or look up to like other doulas. So I was always like watching True and like a few other doulas in the community. And then I also got a doula mentor, because I knew there were some aspects about the doula world that I did not understand, and I wasn't going to understand from a book. I had to really be able to have those challenging conversations with a person that was further advanced in this work than I was, to be able to give me that perspective that I needed, so that I can have that bird's eye view, like Bernicia talked about. Otherwise you're in it for self. You're like, okay, does this make me happy? Like, oh, she really wants to breastfeed, I think I did good. Like, you don't need that. After a while, then it's like, okay, how's she feeling? All right, cool. And so that first birth that I missed, I cried, and then somebody was like, well, it's not about you, right? She was supported, right?
Oh Lord.
I mean, you need people like that to kind of like humble. It's not about you. Like, it's supposed to be about that mom. So did she have the support that she needed? Because you're not a savior. It's not like you're coming in to save the day. Like, no, you need to make sure that she's supported, whatever that support looks like, even if it's not you.
Yes, whatever that support looks like, I think that is just really important. Because again, we can get our own minds and our ideas and imagines for other people, and then try to put it on them, and it's like, no, this ain't your birth, this ain't your experience.
That baby gonna come regardless.
Like, let that lady, let her be there to support her in her space and what she wants done, her and her family. I mean, yeah, doula work is it's important. It's definitely needed. It's definitely one of my I'm like a big advocate for it. But I definitely know that it can be hard. And like you guys were saying, to make sure that if you are a doula or if you're tapping into that world, make sure that you can know that you're human. You know that you're human. And again, as women, I know there's some men doulas out there too. I'm seeing some buzz come through, men again, come through. But right, we wear these many hats. And a lot of us, I'm pretty sure, are mothers and all of that. So making sure that we know our limits. And I say "are" because I am a doula. I am a certified doula. I just know my limit.
Since you are a certified doula, understanding what your hat is in this world. So it's like, okay, I may not necessarily be able to practice, but I can bring on other doulas and understand their perspective to be able to have these engaging conversations.
And I definitely am an advocate. Like I'm not. If you tell me you want to do it, I'm gonna be like, let me figure out how I can maneuver. But my first direction is always like, oh, Jamal, shout out to Jamal. Let's go see what Jamal got. But if I got a doula pool of people that I love, and I'm like always willing to support because I feel like every Black mama needs a doula.
Every single one.
Yes, every one of them. But okay, ladies, so let's just get into real quick. Even though it's a hard job, we know what is the satisfaction that you get out of being a doula? What do you appreciate about being a doula?
I love that I'm supporting another Black human. Ultimately, I really love that I'm helping to ease generational trauma. I think that's the overall arching joy in my soul type. Just holding space, educating, and really empowering clients and making sure that they are heard. All that in some way chipping at generational trauma that they've experienced, that their mom's experienced, that their great grannies have experienced. So I think that really overarching. It's really to my soul. That's one of the greatest feelings.
No lie, like you literally made me teary-eyed, and you couldn't have said that.
Man,
better.
I mean, that's it right there.
Hey, period. We done. She done answered it for all the doulas. Go ahead. Yes, that's it. We putting it right there. I can't even nothing come better than that.
Right.
You can't follow up after that.
Without it being about me, of course, it brings me joy to do things for others, but to break, like you said, break the generational curses. And I can't even say better than what you said, at all.
I know.
What we're doing is we're
right.
For real. I mean, seriously. Yes. You said that beautifully.
Perfectly.
Because we're lowering,
yes,
maternal death rates and infant death rates, and we're making a community. We're rising the community in more healthy ways. We're bringing mothers into this world, or new mothers into this world, or repeat mothers into this world in a more positive aspect. We're lowering health disparities, and we're giving positivity into births instead of trauma into births.
Absolutely.
We're uplifting and empowering these women of color and even other women, but mainly women of color. We're going to keep the focus on women of color, and we're empowering these women. And because we're doing that, we're able to reach out to women past ourselves as doulas. We're showing other women that they can become doulas, so they can, be the extra chain. As us being doulas, we're showing other women that they can be doulas. So we're doing the 3-link makes the 6-link makes the 9-link. So we're bringing
people along. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're the beginning links to an expanding population of growth and empowerment.
I think
You couldn't have said it better, but I just wanted to add a little 2 cents.
I think to
Let me
Andrea's
add my
point,
2 cents.
when she talks about like decreasing generational trauma or ending generational trauma, some people do the doula training just so they can be that change in their family. You know, just so they can be their person in their family that attends the births, that know what to say. Even if they can't attend the birth, they helping the families to prep themselves on what their options are, what they can do.
Yeah.
So some people literally become doulas so that they can be that change maker in their family.
Yeah.
So yes, the generational trauma of, you know, trying to eliminate that, trying to create that change. And we don't realize that every family we support, that one person or that mom that then confides in you and tells you that she wants to become a doula, it's like, yes, absolutely. Here we go to
Absolutely.
because you just never know, like your one act has a ripple effect.
It does.
Oh,
Yeah.
And that's just, to me, I feel like that brings me great satisfaction to know that I plant a seed into a family and that family continues to water that seed and grow more seeds and then plant more seeds. And so it's a continual positive effect and a generational lineage that you didn't even necessarily know you were doing.
Yeah.
You know, so then when that mom who you supported, maybe she had an older daughter that then is pregnant now, and they calling you back like, hey girl, so daughter pregnant,
Yes.
and I'm gonna be there in the hospital, so what I need to know? And I be like, well, what we talk about? You know what I'm saying?
okay.
I'm not looking for
Straight
you
up.
to use me as your doula. I'm looking at you to use exactly what was used with you to help your daughter to navigate this birthing experience too. So it's just that, like you said, that generational opportunity to change DNA, you know, like change lineage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up. And for me, it would be the alignment, like seeing a woman really get back into alignment with herself. And I don't mean that just on like the birthing platform, but on all platforms of just being a woman. We are the first teachers. We are the tone of the house. We are the backbone of our own dynasties. And if anytime we are out of alignment, then everything else in our family, in our world, is out of alignment. The house out of alignment, the kids out of alignment, whoever else is in the house is out of alignment, and nothing is going right. So once we get ourselves back, and as a doula, we put those back into alignment, and we can really see that with women that are struggling with fertility. Well, it's something, whether it be mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually, out of place, and we need to realign that back into, and then seeing them being able to get that done and flourish and just put in more pieces back into the puzzle, so that way we do get that empowerment feeling. And then when we see these clients and these babies that we didn't help with is 15 years old, and we're like, dang, what you been doing? How have you been? And they have so much to tell us that really, not only with the generational curses, but it put their family on a better platform so that the next generation will have something to build off of and put that generational wealth back into it. Not wealth of money, but wealth of everything else.
Health, wealth, all of that. Yes.
Straight up.
Yes. Yes.
I love being my best part of being a doula is when I can open a mom's eyes to options that she didn't know was there. When I have a mom who's
Mike,
your microphone. We be so much talking that we be barely getting to hear people. We be like, your mic is gone, because we be in that deep conversation. We lost you. We are so sorry. You
Lord.
Technology, I know, like, oh, in the future we will be doing these in person, Lord. Let's speak it into existence. But yes, because technology is a mess. I'm sorry, you were saying.
I just love when I can have a mom who didn't think she could have a natural birth, and then she has a natural birth, and it's a total different woman than who I met the prior months, because just being able to push a baby out on your own does something to you. And I love to see that transformation happen before my eyes. That just, I love it. That just does something to my soul when I can actually see a woman transform into a woman. It's great.
Yes.
Not to say that women who were women, because I had 2 C-sections. If I would have known then what I know now.
Well, we
Yes, ma'am.
No matter what your birth option is and your birth plan, you know, being a woman in birth, and you should always have those options. You should always have that support. And you know, if you feel empowered with getting medicine and you don't want to deal with the pain, honey, you have the right to do
You
that.
got that right.
It don't
Yes,
take
you
away
do.
from you
This is
being
your
a good mother
experience.
or
And
birth a baby. Okay, honey, no, that's what you want to do. Personally, for me, I can talk on that. Like, I didn't want medication, and I didn't know what I knew dealing with Devea and that birth, and it was traumatizing for me. And to reclaim and like what you go back and say, I didn't think I was high risk and all of that. I didn't think that I would ever have a natural birth, but to reclaim that and push through all of that with my doulas by my side, okay, it was definitely empowering. And look at me now. You know, I think about that a lot. I be like, the birth between Devea, I'm so glad she's here. I'm glad she's healthy. I appreciate her. I love her dearly. But from her and me with her at 9 months, and me with Delilah here at 9 months now, like birthing Delilah and that, all of that, and being here doing this podcast, and on top of all the other things I've done, it is definitely rewarding. And I give praise again to doulas. I give praise to Jamal Birth Village for the education of learning what the birthing process is. I highlight these things importantly and highly because I know how beneficial they can be for a woman, especially a woman of color. So I'm forever shouting doulas and midwives and all of that out for Black women. Man, it's powerful. It is. It is powerful. Y'all, whew, this has been a conversation. Oh, I love it. I love talking about doulas. I do. I love talking about how y'all support. So how can the community support y'all? Because we know y'all supporting. How can the community support doulas? What can we do to help you all?
I know sometimes a lot of doulas, like Charity, she's not here, Doula Bean, she does like community shout.
You froze on us, Netta. But shout out to Charity. She was going to be here. We're sending positive vibes. She's not feeling well. I see her in the comments. Shout out to her. My doula sister, she is definitely dope, and she's doing some dope, amazing things out here. I definitely appreciate her. But what were you saying, Netta? We lost.
Yeah, I seen it this time. I just stopped talking. I was like, cool. But no, just saying, you know, community baby showers. Also, people have been collecting funds to support doulas. So maybe finding a local doula support group or a fund that you can donate monies to. Community organizations like Jamal Birth Village or any other birthing organization that helps to train doulas, you know, donating money so that someone can attend a doula training for free. Also the bigger organizations, so donating money to them so that they can pay or give money to these different community organizations that have that their work is centered around maternal care and also doula trainings and doula work. So that's just a few of those.
Yes, definitely that.
Okay, well, I want to add a few things like with the support aspect. I know that we have been posting a lot on the Illinois side about getting a bill passed where we will be funded by Medicaid or Medicare, whichever one. And those things that we pay attention to doulas. I'll put that's how you can support us, by paying attention to us. We share these things to our community so that you can advocate for us. So if we have those bills, when it's time to vote on that bill, be present. Let's start putting these people into places so that we can get these laws passed so that we can better help, our community. The doula, like, I love the Hood Talks. I love that you took this to put your doula senses together, because now we're getting into that community aspect where we are asking y'all to support. We're putting these things out in the community so that we can get the support we need and give those mothers that need whatever it is they need, the things that they need.
Yes,
and need.
that was definitely a big one. I think that is one of the things that will save more Black women is when we get funding for this and laws passed around supporting and funding doulas. I think that is a big thing. Shout out to Generate Health Flourish, again, True at Jamal, and those people that are advocating for that. Medicaid used to pay for doulas in Missouri.
They did.
Yeah,
they paid for my first doula.
Yeah, so, they dropped it.
And that was 11 years ago. And they took it out, and it has to be put back.
It has to be put back. So we really need to rally around that aspect. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yes. So just keep up with us. Keep up with the doulas. When we posting articles and different things, don't just like it and skip over it. Take the time, read a little bit. If you want us to elaborate, comment, what's this about? If you don't want to read it, we're gonna talk about it, but just
the doulas love talking about it.
And that's what the Hood Talks podcast is for.
Yes.
Shay, we want to talk more about what's going on. Let me know, because that's why I created this platform, is also to highlight these things and to get these things talked about and discussed, because again, these are things that's happening in our communities. It's affecting women, Black women, and we know the solution. The solution is here on my screen, so we need them to support it and get it out here, people.
Definitely.
Elected officials in these seats. Don't let me get started on them. But yes, if y'all watching, elected officials, we just said what we wanted, okay? Yeah. But yeah, so y'all, I'm sorry. Look, don't let me get on my soapbox about But yes, ladies, anything else y'all feel like the community needs to do to help rally around doulas and help support you all?
Those were the two big ones right there.
That's it right there.
Help us with funding, and then just get people in conversation about doulas and how we need it and what we do. Because there's so many people who don't even know what a doula is. And I love when I catch them. They be like, what's a doula? I'm glad you asked.
You don't know. Sit on down, talk a while.
And again, it's many different types of doulas. You hear me? So it's all for whatever you may need that doula for. Definitely. Maybe we need to get like a doula a catalog or something going. You hear me? So we can get
I actually do have a doula directory coming out on the 1st of April. If any of you all ladies want to be there, everybody else, please stay tuned. I have a doula directory coming. So if you have any talents or whatever, you'll be able to find that doula for you, whether it be postpartum, whether it be just for and whatever. I really want to highlight what that person does. So even though you're a full spectrum doula, you might be more into the postpartum aspect, but you might not want to come in the home. You might be more of, let me get you organized so you can do this for yourself, or let me make sure your mental is together, because there's so many facets of what we do. And I just want to highlight everybody's individual talent versus just saying, here's a doula list, just pick one. Know what is it that you want to really pick, what you want to cater to, because you might be like, cool, look, I got a tilted uterus, I can't have no nothing but C-sections. I don't need that, but I still need somebody for moral support. I still need somebody that might have to come into the surgery room because I don't have somebody that can, whether I still have my dad or birth person there, they squeamish, they gonna faint, they can't be there, they're a distraction. You have so many aspects, and I just wanted to take the time and put it together so that everybody is kind of showcased and you can filter through what it is that you want. So I had to put my little spice on that.
Oh, that's super dope, though. I mean, that's really dope. And it's important what you're saying, though. Because when you are, not every doula is for everybody. We know that, right? So when you are shopping around for doulas, make sure that you know what you're specifically maybe looking for. For example, for my birth, I know I suffer from postpartum depression with Devea. So I was really big on my mental, like Delilah, like I need somebody to help me in that mental space. So who can I get? And my doula, shout out to her. She's a therapist also, Joy.
Shout out to Joy.
Yes, Joy was my therapist. I love her. She got me through that thing.
I love Joy. But yeah, so she was her specialty is of course therapy. And she being a therapist. So of course that was along with her doula hat. So it was helpful for me because I knew, like, I identified, okay, I struggle, I ain't trying to struggle again. So knowing that, you know, we have to as women, but that's like real honest truth when we're talking about going into these birthing experiences and having these babies. Y'all, babies is children is work. So you have to identify what full time. Do you hear me? Full time. No days off. No days off. But but you really want to make sure that you know how you are yourself. Know yourself and what's your limits. And so having someone in that specialty to help you will be, I mean, it's amazing. So
I think that'll be helpful. Bernicia?
Yes, you got it.
Probably do that a few more times. But I think that's so helpful because I know for me, I specialize in supporting high-risk pregnancies. And so it's helpful to be able to find another high-risk person when I do have high-risk pregnancy moms to be able to do that backup.
Yes, I didn't even think about that aspect.
Sometimes my plate is full. And then I have, you know, high-risk pregnancy moms that reach out to me, and I have to like turn them to somebody else that may not necessarily be as familiar with high-risk pregnancy.
Exactly.
You know, it's like a hard one because, well, most Black people who have any type of condition are considered high risk. It's a whole other avenue because it's so much other stuff that come with being high risk and different doctors that they work with. You know, it would be helpful to find other high risk.
Also, technically, to be deemed high risk, all you have to be is a color of a person of color, make a certain amount of money, and be a single mother.
Absolutely.
No health issues whatsoever, but she's already deemed high risk.
Right. But then there are some people that legit are high risk and they have, you know, like issues and things like that you like there are so many people that's gonna be in the hospital room, or is that, you know, you got to think about the whole
different doctors
where someone could transition and what does that support look like. And so that would be helpful to, you know, because I was trained in that, you know, just because I was diagnosed with a condition that makes me high risk, so they say. So that made me want to learn about high risk pregnancies and do that training and different conditions as it relates to pregnancy care. But that's something that, like, yeah, I think your book would be very beneficial if you can have a subsection that says high risk doulas.
Look, I'm for all of that because I mean, I really had it to where it was fertility, postpartum, and, you know, birth, even though I know everybody does, but I was just going to highlight what is your thing? Your thing is high risk. Okay. So now we got a high risk portion. It might just be you this quarter because I'm planning on doing this every quarter year, updating the list or the directory. So the next time it might be 2 or 3 people until we can, you know, expand. I see this being a nationwide to a global directory for us to have.
That'd be so awesome.
It will be.
I definitely think that's
like people with autoimmune conditions that have like lupus, or especially lupus. It's a lot of Black people that have lupus. It's a lot of people that has lupus that want to be pregnant, and they can get pregnant now with certain therapies and medications, but their route of pregnancy is completely different. You know, much more at stake. And it's just, you know, being able to know, like, okay, I got lupus, I can look at this directory. Oh, cool, it's a high risk doula. So now I don't have to go and explain and everything, and that the doula trying to get me to do this. I'm like, no, I can't do that. Like, you know, but that's frustrating too. And constantly reminds that mom, like, oh yeah, I can't do another thing. Whereas if you have that doula that's able to come in and say, or just like if you had that sex doula that came in and be like, look, I already understand this. Let's start here. You know, you don't have to
straight up
talk and all that, because we get irritated with our doctors when they don't read our questionnaire. Like, you had me for this.
You this whole thing out, you ain't even read it.
The same stuff.
Right, like what you back there sitting at your desk doing nothing.
Right. Coloring there.
So now that is definitely shout out to you for doing that, and shout out to you, Netta, for doing being a high risk pregnancy, because my pregnancies were high risk, and that's where I wanted to go down the avenue of high risk pregnancies. And actually, I really wanted to focus in on I'm gonna call it, they call obese women, because they like to throw things at us also when we're carrying and pregnant, you know, and certain things that you can't do in the hospital, like get in a tub where everybody else can. But yeah, look, let me not get
about it. Look, come on.
Look, I already know what you got going yet.
Remember I had that, I was so like highly upset when y'all telling me I'm fat, because I'm fat I can't get in the tub. Really, y'all? Come on. This is what
Girl,
this is
when you told me that.
real and wrong. Like,
you have to do a segment on that, on for real pregnancy with women. I don't know if you want to call it obese or whatever, because I don't know the language, so excuse me on terminology, but I think that would be giving a voice to so many women.
I think so too.
Yes.
Shout out to that.
Hey, and I'm down for it, because that was one of the things last year when I was pregnant, is that we don't look pregnant. Us big girls, we shape different until we get big, and it's hard for us to find that center of having that. Okay, look, I'm cute with my baby bump, even though you can't see it, I see it.
Right, I know it's there.
Let me go ahead. And I had so many people when I first posted my picture, they was like, Is she pregnant? Is you pregnant? If this is a good picture of you today, or you don't care that you bloated, or you got the baby?
People are so insensitive. I had somebody tell me, "Oh, you ain't even that big." Really? Oh, okay. I guess I suppose it's just
look. I'm already big. I know I'm big. I feel big, but that's why I say these plushy. We need to set aside a little special time for these plushy bellies.
Pregnant? What you think?
Plus size and pregnant.
Yes.
I'm with it.
Look,
I like that. I like
Email
that.
me the Hood Talks podcast. Y'all want to get that segment in? I need
baby, put me on there. I'm ready.
Yes.
Pregnant. I don't know how to make it sound sexy, but like, I think it would be a dope podcast, and I'm gonna be right there watching, because so I can be able to support. Because I've always been a smaller frame person, but every woman is body conscious. I don't care who you are. Every woman
don't matter.
Conscious. And wanting to be a doula, hey, that might be a training. I'm just throwing it out there. But that, you know, being able to support women who are bigger, or just support women with insecurities, body image insecurities, or just different body images, because everybody not insecure about their body. So that'll be helpful for me as a doula. That would be a continuing training that I legit would pay for, because I want to make sure that I'm coming to this where I'm not automatically thinking you're not happy with your body. You know, because that's what society tells you, like, oh, if you're a bigger person, you're not happy with your body. But there are some people that are fluffy and fabulous, and
yes.
Is what you know.
Society definitely tells you not to like yourself, and then these doctors come in and be like making it even more hard. Like really, just because I'm overweight, you think I'm not healthy? Okay, whatever.
So that's great training. I don't know who want to do that, because
look,
that's the thing with continuing education. Like, we always got to be continually educated.
Yeah,
I would definitely pick that up, because that was something that I was so big on, was just body positivity during my pregnancy, because I had lost weight. I had got myself fine. I'm doing my yoga, I'm doing my womb living, and then all of a sudden I got pregnant, and I didn't even know I was pregnant, but these 7 pounds just ain't going nowhere. And I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden, oh, you pregnant. And I'm like, wow, well, how is this going to work for what I'm doing? I got to change everything I'm doing, because I was doing my whole lifestyle was centered around my period, and now I don't have one. So ain't no slim and trim. So I did a lot of body positivity with someone in the St. Louis area, Denise Black. Shout out to Denise Black. She hosts feminine sexual energy type classes that is through dance and movement. I love her. She helped me a lot during my pregnancy. And I'm definitely willing to pick up that ball because, hey, baby, I was all about the plushy bellies. I'm reposting and everything because y'all, we look just as good as, you know, the person that is a size 5 that got the nice little round basketball belly. You just got to feel that energy. So don't dumb yourself down or put on a lot of clothes. No, look, crop tops, period. Put that stomach out there. It's okay. Because guess what? Either way, you see it. You can see it with these clothes on or with these clothes off. And either way, you still gonna have the same opinion. So let me just be great.
Let me do it.
In
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Let me know if you need any help with any of that, but yes, I
It's
definitely.
a whole new episode. Look, I told y'all I'm trying to be done in August. Season 2 for real.
Yeah.
There we go. I got y'all. Season 2, we coming through on that. We definitely gonna have a conversation around that because I think
My bad for veering it off, but I'm excited.
No, that's just what we do at the Hood Talk.
Yes, we need this.
Do this, right? We have these conversations. We keep it real and raw, and we touch on every time. I feel like every time I have a show, we touch on something that's just part of our world and part of our community. So no apologies, ladies. We are going to go ahead and start to close this out. Again, I appreciate you all, but I do want to give you guys a space to say whatever you feel is on your heart. Maybe you want to I guess say something that you feel is important for the community to know about doulas. However, and that's how we're going to close it out. So whoever wants to go first.
Doulas are awesome. Make sure that even just outside of being a doula as Black women, make sure that you have your voice. And just what you put out there is what you give back, period.
Where can we find you at?
Yes, please.
On Facebook, it's my name right there, Sherika Hutchinson, and it has all of my information there.
I'll go next. Thank y'all for having me on this panel. I had so much fun with you ladies. I hope we can outside of this. If you all are looking for services, doula services, if you are high risk pregnancy or would like your belly wrapped, my name is Benetta Ward. It's Netta Ward on Facebook, Netta Marie the Doula on Instagram, and my company is Nurture Nature Birth Institute. If you want to check out my services, it's www.thenurturingnature.com, www.thenurturingnature.com. Feel free to DM me because most people just DM me, and I'm cool with it. All right.
Anybody else? Oh, don't y'all gotta say something. Come on and close out.
Oh, okay. Well, look, here I will go. Y'all, I'm Bernicia Dantonay on Facebook. I am Lady Majesty on Instagram. And you can find my business page on Facebook at I AM, all capital letters. And I just want to let you know, say that affirmation this morning. Follow whatever it is I am. Just follow it wherever you want to be, you are. Just give yourself some empowering words and speak kindly to yourself today. That's it.
Yes.
I just want to thank everybody for being on this call with me, and thank you, Savannah, for having me. You guys can find me on Facebook at Grace Hawcap. I am happy to be a birth or postpartum doula for you, and thank you for having me on this show, Savannah.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Vanna, for this space.
No, thank you all for being here and coming on and being
here. Thank you.
I appreciate it. You want to tell us how we can get in contact with you too, Miss Sex? I'm so like intrigued by all of that. Sex doula, deaf doula, like that's all so
yes.
So on Facebook, my name is Andrea Richardson. On Instagram, I am the owner and founder of Womb Care Woman. So that's Womb Care. Woman is spelled WOMXN. And folks can find me at wombcarewoman.com. So you can send me an email at andrea@wombcarewoman.com. And I have a lot of services, doula services, so that includes birth, postpartum, labor. I also, if you want to talk about grief and birth, I'm here for that too. If you want to talk about pleasure and sex, I'm here for that too. So, yeah. Thanks.
Andrea, I'm excited to connect with everybody.
Man, I'll connect with her.
Yeah, because I do kind of touch on sex after that 6 weeks with my mamas. So if you want to do a training, that's just throwing it out there. I do consultations for doulas, and I'm a visionary, so I'm full of ideas all the time. So feel free if anybody out there in Facebook world or on this call wants some consultation on their doula business and just how to bring more services and programs and events to the community centered around your service, just let me know.
Yes. Oh, lastly too, I'm a healing artist. I forgot completely. I'm a Reiki practitioner. Okay. And I'm adding that to my doula services too. So if you need a spiritual doula for Black folks, I'm here. I also read birth charts, and I sling cards as a tarot reader.
Sure.
Hey now.
I do all the things, so get at me.
Yes. Okay. Let me put a little bit more accolades on mine if y'all don't mind. So,
you better go ahead, honey.
Like, dang, I forgot I did that too. But like I said, in addition to my skincare and hair care items that I sell, I do yoga. So if you looking for postpartum yoga, I am very fluent in that and trained. And if you are looking for prenatal yoga or just to kind of get your body back in shape after whatever you got going on, get at me. I will be hosting classes as of next month. And I also have a pop-up shop for moms coming up with a few ladies over here on the Illinois side. We are doing, I forgot what it's called, my bad, y'all, for advertising it, but it is on May 8th. So come out, get yourself something. And these are all Black-owned women businesses. So come out and support.
Yes, we have to support our Black-owned businesses. Okay. And shout out to this Black podcast.
Yes.
I did put the cash app. Well, yes, period. The Hood Talks podcast. I did put our cash app in the comments. So please, y'all, I fought with myself about doing this, but I'm like, no, Shavannah.
Support this brand.
Yes.
Every donation keeps this brand going. It keeps it alive. It keeps her talking in the hood. Okay. Make sure you send it in. Every blessing is always appreciated. I'm gonna just be her, advertisement. It's cool because I be giving all of that love. Man, we wouldn't be here without you. So yes. Please,
definitely living her passion right now.
I am definitely, walking into this, I never thought that it would be where it is, and I see it going farther. So I would love to appreciate, and I definitely want the community to rally around this because this is again a community platform. Like I want to highlight you guys. I don't want to charge people to come on this platform. I want to provide resources on this platform, but it definitely takes money. It does, and it takes time.
It does. So even if you can't right now. Free, that's a passion, and it's always gonna pay you back, baby.
Yes.
So drop them cash apps right now. Drop them cash apps, y'all.
Yes, I appreciate you all. It does. And again, like I feel like we are providing resources, and we need these. We need to know where to go. And here you guys are. If we're looking for a doula, here are some wonderful women. Grace is through Jamal Birth Village. You can tap into her there. Netta is part of Jamal Birth Village. And you have the East Side over here representing too.
Get you a doula. Get you a doula.
if you trying to get pregnant, we got the sex doula right here for you too. So we got we doulas, all things doulas over here on the Hood Talks podcast platform, y'all. But yes, again, thank you all for tuning in on this Saturday. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. Share. And that's it. We out. Oh, next episode is April 11th, I believe. We're talking stacks and stocks. It's a financial show. We're going to be talking about. Yeah, we got some topics on the Hood Talks podcast, especially in April. Oh wait, April. No, next one's April 3rd. Look, I'm so everywhere, y'all. Excuse me. April 3rd is I am a survivor, talking sexual abuse, talking about that in the Black community. Yes, this is going to be, when I say this is going to be a great show, you all tune in.
Oh,
y'all.
I'm tuned in.
This is going to be a great, and it's going to be live. April 3rd, that's going to be live. Then following up will be the April 11th, where we're talking about financial literacy. And then April 24th, another live show. Fighting racism authentically. My experience as an ally. I have an all-white panel, 2 white men and 2 white women that's coming on the platform to talk about racism, talking about anti-racist work. I mean, I love it. Yes. And one of our guests will be from out of town. Look at that. The Hood Talks is going out of town. So yes, we will have our first out of town guest on that show. Again, y'all. So tune in. The flyers are out there. Share the flyers, share the page, share the information. Again, this is a community podcast, and we are having discussions and topics that affects our community. St. Louis, we here. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in, and we are out.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, y'all.